Hello, hello, hello. Mary Kay Smooth here. After a lovely day at school today. How you doing today? Well, it was um it was an interesting day that we had today. But, in my little conversation about dogs on Wednesday, I decided to talk to one of the board members of the Chinese Shar Association of America, because I was thinking that it might be a good thing to educate the general public on the dogs thing. A lot of people don't understand me because I've had dogs. Well, we always had dogs all my life, but I also in 1990 got my first Chinese Shar, and since then I've never had another breed. And it's because they love you in a different way than any dog breed we ever had growing up. And I loved them. And I've had as many, woo, child, as 9 in the house. But that was because I really was 8, took 2 returns. And you say returns? Well, when you buy a dog from a breeder that's on the national level in a national club, usually the support is a lot more profound than it would be if you got it from a backyard breeder, which most people do. Um, the Chinese Shar, the history of the Chinese Shar is so interesting, and how it got to America and Canada in the I would say early 60s. I wouldn't say 50s. I would say 60s. It was banished from China, and American and Canadian breeders, Mr. Matgo, Matgo Law, was the head of the Hong Kong Kennel Club, and he got the American and the Canadian breeders to take them in. And he's still alive and comes over um, to do dog shows sometimes. Um, so the puppies are irresistible. When you see a puppy, a Shar puppy, it's irresistible. Um, but there were problems in most purebred dogs. There are health issues that are specific to that breed. And Shar have had their fair share, but I will say that the American and Canadian breeders improved the breed um, since the 60s. There's some old myths. Oh, you have to clean in between the wrinkles. Mm-mm. All of that is over. Now, the other thing that they did was they increased the number of colors because there was only really 4 colors when it came in. And it's very interesting. So I'm trying to get the National Club to start doing something on social media to enlighten and educate people on our breed as well as dog showing. Because what's happening is dog showing now in Newark has interesting, my town has an interesting history. In 1833, there was a Newark Kennel Club. And actually, they had dog shows in 1833, and that was prior to the American Kennel Club being formed. And some of the meetings they had to form the American Kennel Club were in Newark. So I'm proud of that fact. It was a Jewish woman's fancy, dog showing, and that's how it got started. And right now, what's happening is we're not educating. So we're not growing. We do have a youth program. They call that junior handling. but we're not promoting dog showing probably as we should. So I'm trying to get the club to start doing something on social media because I think that we can. I'm starting to get ready to do my facial. I think that we can get it, start growing it again because we're losing participation in America. Every weekend there's shows somewhere, except when you get close to the end of the year. Um, when I started showing dogs, it was amazing. My mother, I bought my first show dog was Magic Johnson, and he was a pretty black Shar. And so people started to tell me, he's so pretty, you should show him. And there was a girl at my job, Diane Ammerman. She was a Labrador Retriever breeder for many years, actually, and she's credited with owning the number one Labrador Retriever show dog of all time, RJ, and his show name was Casbar Heart to Heart, because she's Casbar Kennel. So she took my Magic to the Philadelphia Dog Show, which actually is the dog show that comes on for Thanksgiving Day after the parade. And my Magic won and was on TV, y'all. Oh my God. That's when I found out that my mother liked dog shows. I swear to God. Oh, look, I wet my shirt. I'm glad you can't see it. Um, my mother actually loved dog shows. I was shocked. And Magic was 6 months old. That's the earliest you can be in a dog show. And Diane took him to his first, and dog shows usually on the weekend, they're usually okay. If it's a big if it's kennel clubs that are collaborating together, it's 4 or 5 days in a row: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if it's a holiday on Monday, and if not, it could start on Wednesday. And my dog went down on Thursday, and he won his first day out, and he won his second day. And the third day, she told me if he wins on Saturday, he'll be on TV, line reducer. He'll be on TV for Thanksgiving Day. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we oh, Retinol. We got we won on Saturday. So because he was young, Diane told me that I may not want to put him in. Remember, I told you this might be over today. Actually, it's not. One more day. Um, she told me that he might be too young, and I might scare him and give him a bad experience. So I went outside to have a cigarette because I used to smoke cigarettes then. And May, a friend of mine that's a police officer, retired in Newark, she went down with me. And this guy asked us for a light, and and we were talking about the dog, and I said, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And he asked me, well, what kind of dog do you have? And I said, I got a Chinese Shar Pei. And he said, oh, really? So he said, well, who was your breeder? Who's your breeder? And I told him Pat Roach, Arlie Sharpay out of Alabama. And he said, really? And so he asked me who were the parents. He was asking me about the pedigree of the dog. And it ended up that he actually bred Magic's mother, and sold her to Pat Roach. So he said, I want to see him. So he came inside, and he called Magic, and Magic ran over. Magic was very friendly. My dogs that I have raised from a puppy are very friendly. I've got the two from Argentina that I'm suffering with, because I didn't get them until they were almost a year old. So that's a different experience for me, and I haven't been able to break either one of them. X, he's better, but he's not there. Oh, I'm getting a bump. You know what I have to do, right? Let me get it. And so he said, put him in. And I went, and Diane sent me into the TV ring, which was a big glamorous ring. And I went in, and it was very noisy because it was crowded. And I didn't think the noise would bother him. And then it was hot, but I knew I could bring his temperature down when I got him out of the ring. And then there was a lot of moving parts, cameras, arms, everything. So I said, okay, he could do it. So when May and I went in, and we got on the side where the people were having champagne and had on tuxedos, some of the people, it was the glamorous side. So when we got in, all the dogs in our group ran in. Magic ran in with Diane. It was cute. But when they turned the corner, the number one Dalmatian in the country was right in front of Magic. And when there's a camera that drops down eye level to the dog, and when that camera dropped down, it scared the daylights out of the Dalmatian, and his tail came down and hit his stomach. They couldn't get it back up. So usually on TV, they only show 3 or 4 dogs. Usually they're the top in their breed in the country, if they're there. Well, on Thanksgiving Day, we're watching, and I said, Mommy, we're going to see him coming in, and that's all we're going to see, and you'll see him sitting on the side. But all of a sudden, David Fry, the commentator, said, and from Newark, New Jersey, is Arlie Lucci, Black Magic Johnson. The phone started ringing. My mother was having a stroke, and they showed Magic being examined by the judge, and he was so cute. He was so pretty. And they said he was the youngest dog in the show because he was only 2 or 3 days over 6 months. And it was just lovely. So then when it was over, my mother turned to me and said, when's our next show? And I said, Mommy, we don't have no next show. She said, the hell we don't. I'm putting my dog in another show. Guys, my mother loved the dog shows, but my mother, she would disappear sometimes. And mommy, towards the end, mommy had a rollator where she could sit down, but then she got a scooter. So she would disappear with the scooter. I go around. Mommy's at the poodle ring. My mother had a love for them little poodles. And there's a Chinese guy named Kaz. May he rest in peace. He just passed away. I believe he won Westminster last year. Yes, he did. And my mother used to go and watch Kaz and the poodles. Okay. Mommy was a mess. But we went, and you know what? And I have driving anxiety, and I don't do Pennsylvania well. My mother was driving us everywhere. Now my father wouldn't even let her drive. My mother was driving us everywhere. We staying in the hotels, going to the dog shows. Boom, boom. Evelyn was in it. But my mother passed away um before I got De Niro, and that's when we really started to win. That's when I took Daddy to the garden. Oh my God. And, and got a limousine for him and some of my friends, and they thought Daddy was Morgan Freeman. That was a mess too. Oh my God. So the dog show thing is a wonderful deal. And I want the club to share it. And honestly, I do want to share it with Black people like dog shows, but they have never been exposed with assistance. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what you're doing, it can be daunting. And me and mommy suffered. My mother was really, sometimes she would get angry, but we didn't understand everything then. And it wasn't until I learned more when I got the second show dog, when I bred De Niro, I got to see how much better a specimen De Niro was than Magic. Both had great temperament, father and son. And then I got to see how wonderful De Niro was, and he started winning. And mommy wasn't really, she wasn't able to go a lot. So Daddy did get to go. Daddy only went to one show at the Garden in the limousine when they thought he was Morgan Freeman, and he was waving. He didn't tell him. He didn't say he was Morgan Freeman, and he didn't say he wasn't Morgan Freeman. It was hysterical, for real. For real. My friends that were with Daddy, because I couldn't be with them, that's why I got them a limousine. They just started laughing. Girl, it was hysterical. So I have had a lot of experience in the dog show thing. I've been doing it now quite a while. 2007. Yeah. And I have fun. When I don't have fun, I don't do it. And there's it right now. We need new blood that's got character and morals, and I would love to introduce new young people to it. So that's what I'm trying to get the club to do. Okay, guys, I got on my little face for tonight, and I will see you on Monday. And De Niro, oh Lord, I'm naming all my old dogs. X. X is truly a little stud muffin now. He knows what to do, and prayerfully, we had 4 days in a row of little stud services on Zuki, and prayerfully, we will get some puppies. And my ex is right now sitting on my foot because he wants to go upstairs and try to see if he can get her again. Because now he's a sex machine. My little dog X is a sex machine out of Argentina. Yes. Okay, guys. It's wonderful talking to you guys every other day during the week. So I'll be back on Monday. If something good happens, maybe I'll be back before. And hopefully, I'll be able to introduce to you someday that the Chinese Shar Club of America is now going online teaching some of the stuff. There's some very talented breeders, been in it years, and it's time to pass on knowledge and train other people to our Shar, because we're already a rare breed, and as sales decline, less breeders breed, if you know what I mean. So I'll be seeing you, and I love our little breed. It's a nice middle sized